The 2024 NFL season has come to a close for the New Orleans Saints, which means it's time to look ahead, turn the page, and let's dive into the 2025 NFL Draft. My name is Trizzy Trace Gerard. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. As always, we greatly appreciate the Who Dat Nation for making us a part of their day and taking time out of your day to help support us and also get informed and get more information around the black and gold. And right now, as it stands, the New Orleans Saints select at 9 overall. They hold the 9th overall pick, and guess what? If the Raiders win this game, which right now at halftime, the Chargers have a 17-10 lead. If the Raiders win, the Saints can move up to the 8th overall selection, meaning that draft pick gets a little bit sweeter, but the 8th pick is the best that they can land. They are right now are at number 9, and also pretty cool information. We already have the 2025 opponents. They have been leaked by this account right here. And to be totally transparent, I don't know if this is official. I don't know if it's set. I think things could still potentially change, to be totally honest. I don't know. But right now, as it stands, the Saints have the 4th place schedule in the NFC South because they finished in 4th place of the NFC South. Isn't that embarrassing? But the Panthers, they took down the Falcons this week, and so that's why they moved up. That's why things are switching around. That's why we're 4th overall. So, really quick, I just wanted to give you guys some information. I wanted to get you guys informed for the offseason because the draft is a very large part of that. But the Saints have a laundry list of needs. They need pretty much depth, at least at every position. They need starters at a lot of very key important information, or important positions, But right now, they need some help. And you only have one first-round draft pick as it stands. So where the hell do we begin? We're going to dive in, and I'm going to give you 10 draft targets here in just 1 second. But let me know, who do you want to draft in round 1? Reminder, the Saints hold the 9th overall pick. It could move up to 8, but as of right now, at the time of filming this video, January 5th, 4:55 p.m., the Saints have the 9th overall selection. Who do you want to be the first-round pick for the black and gold? Let's dive into the first name, Tetairoa McMillan. He is a phenomenal, I'm talking destructive, dangerous, great wide receiver that fits exactly what the New Orleans Saints need. And this wide receiver group absolutely lacks depth. And we've been able to see how bad the offense gets whenever you don't have any wide receivers available. When you don't have quality depth, these are the problems that you run into. And with Tetairoa McMillan, I think that his frame at 6'5", 212 pounds is absolutely incredible. 84 receptions, over 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. He averaged over 15 yards per catch for the Arizona Wildcats. I think he would be an excellent addition to the New Orleans Saints. They have a lot of speed. They have a lot of guys who are skinny, scrawny, fast playmakers. They need size. They need somebody who can be that X-type wide receiver, like an A.J. Brown or Michael Thomas type guy. I think that Tetairoa McMillan could be that for the New Orleans Saints. So, in my personal opinion, this is my top draft target, Tetairoa McMillan. But, of course, we asked you guys earlier, so let me know who yours is. Number 2 on this list, we're going to dive into Will Johnson. For the record, by the way, these aren't ordered in any particular order. I just kind of threw names at you and the list of how they came to my mind. So Will Johnson is the second player we're going to discuss in today's video. He's been dealing with a turf toe injury, so he has had limited production and limited run this season for the Wolverines. However, there's no question about it. When he is healthy, he is the cornerback 1 in this draft class. He's a very talented defensive back, 6'2", 202 pounds. He also has 12 tackles on the year, 2 interceptions, 3 pass breakups. Both of those interceptions, for the record, I'm pretty sure those were both pick sixes, which is pretty cool. But when it comes down to Will Johnson, he does have a nice size. He does have a nice frame. And for the Saints specifically, you don't have Marshawn Lattimore anymore. Kool-Aid McKinstry, he's a rookie this year. Now we got to see what he can do in year 2. Alontae Taylor, he moves all over the place. I think he's honestly better off in the slot. And obviously with Paulson Adebo, there's question marks around him. Do you bring him back? Is he going to be healthy enough to bring back next season? These are all questions that the Saints have to get answers to, and Will Johnson can be a really good insurance policy if all of those questions, the answer is no or it doesn't favor the black and gold. Let's dive into this next player, just overall a great football player, and that is Travis Hunter. Now, for the record, I do not think Travis Hunter will be available for the New Orleans Saints selection at 8 or 9 overall. However, there's no doubt about it. This kid is talented. He was the Heisman winner. He is a phenomenal football player, and he plays both ways of the ball, and he has incredible ball skills. He not only is lethal at the point of catch as a receiver, but he can use those receiving skills to help him out as a corner as well. He's a very willing and very skilled tackler, which is something, as a Saints fan, I think we can all agree needs to improve. He has really good awareness, a high football IQ, an endless motor. He played so many snaps this year. A lot of snaps. He played a lot of snaps this year. And he has really impressive body control. You've been able to see the way he contorts his body in the air in order to make the play, whether it's offense or defense. Travis Hunter, he's going to make some team a lot of money. He's going to sell a lot of jerseys wherever he ends up. Mason Graham, maybe my top draft target in round 1 as well. I think if I had to go in any particular order, my top 3 in no order, Tet McMillan, Mason Graham, and then this guy right here who we haven't gotten to. I'll tell you who that is in a second. But Mason Graham, he is the top defensive tackle in college football this season. And I think when it comes down to the New Orleans Saints, they need somebody in the defensive interior who can help dominate alongside Brian Brzee. He's very talented as a bull rusher. He can collapse the pocket as a bull rusher, and he also has a really good skill set, and he has the athleticism in order to be able to develop and create and learn more pass rush skills and pass rush tools, and he can develop and enhance and grow that pass rush arsenal. And I do think that he's very quick off the ball. He's got a good combination of athleticism and strength. The size, it is a little bit down, like in terms of looking at a Jalen Carter type of player. However, you cannot question whether or not he is a good football player. He has great production, 20 quarterback hurries on the season. You see his stat line right here. He would be excellent. And as we know, the Saints need to do better at stopping the run. Mason Graham isn't the best run-stopping defensive tackle. He is a good defensive tackle. Overall, he's the number 1 in my personal opinion. But I do think Mason Graham would be an excellent, phenomenal, great, incredible, terrific, all of these synonyms I can use for good. I think that would be an excellent draft selection for the New Orleans Saints. Now let's get into my other top draft target, Abdul Carter, the edge rusher out of Penn State. And he's a big reason why the Nittany Lions have found the success that they have found this entire year and in the college football playoff. He's a very impressive athlete at 6'3", 252 pounds. This guy plays with his hair on fire. And guess what? He has experience as a linebacker, as an off-ball linebacker. So you can honestly have him drop back in coverage, and he's effective against the run. This is a guy as a pass rusher who's only going to get better. This is a guy as a defensive football player who has all of the skill set you want. And look at this. 11 sacks, 37 QB hurries. Come the hell on. Give me this. I'm signing up for the Abdul Carter train. I want to see him be the New Orleans Saints first-round selection if they go defense. If it's offense, I wouldn't mind Tet McMillan, but Abdul Carter would be an excellent addition. The Saints pass rush was terrible this year. They need to get better at getting to the quarterback. And Abdul Carter, I think he could do that. Now, really quick, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be going live throughout the NFL draft. I'm going to be out at in Indianapolis, I should say, for the scouting combine. I'm going to be giving you guys coverage about the Saints every step in between. I'm going to be giving you guys coverage at these events. So I highly encourage you to subscribe to the channel. It's free content, and we also crossed 40,000 subscribers today in our live watch party. So I just got to say thank you guys so much for helping us reach this milestone. Road to 50K. We're coming for you. So I hope you guys are ready and you guys are strapped in, ready to go for a good off season. All right, Will Campbell. He's the next draft target I want to discuss because I think that for him, it's one of those things I just don't think that offensive tackle is the biggest need for the New Orleans Saints right now. I think Taliesin Fuaga and I think that Trevor Penning honestly did a fine job. Let's see what Fuaga can do in year 2. I think he was fine. Let's see what Penning can do with another year under his belt. He took some really good steps in the right direction this year. So for me, Will Campbell, he's a solid run blocker, really good against the pass, a 70.8 overall PFF grade in 2024, 866 snaps offensively, and he only let up 11 hurries, 5 QB hits, and 2 sacks. So Will Campbell, he's one of the top offensive tackles. If you wanted to beef up the trenches, I think he's a good guy to do that. Michael Williams, another edge rusher that I'm really jazzed about. I think with him, he's a player that the Saints could genuinely benefit so much from having around. Like Michael Williams, this season, 15 tackles, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's standing at 6'5", 265 pounds. Like, honestly, let's have a conversation. How many Georgia defensive linemen have you seen enter the league and just be terrible? Not that many in the recent history. So, like, I'm all for Michael Williams. Still a little bit raw. Needs to get a little bit more development, in my personal opinion. If you think I'm wrong, flame me in the comments. But I do think that Michael Williams can be a really good edge rusher, and I think that he fits a massive position in need. Now let's talk Ashton frickin' Jeanty. To be totally honest, this is, if you get him in round 1, cool. If you don't, I don't want to talk about running back until round 3. And that's with Cam Scadaboo when we get to round 3. But today, we're talking round 1. Ashton Jeanty, the Heisman runner-up. He is one of my personal favorite running back draft prospects. Over the last handful of seasons, him and Cam Scadaboo are 1A and 1B. Like, I love both of these players. I love how athletic they are. I love how elite Ashton Jeanty's contact balance is, especially. I mean, honestly, a lot of this is applicable to Cam Scadaboo as well, but for Jeanty specifically, he could be a really high-end player that can make a very large impact very early on into his career. He also can serve as a receiving back. 2,600 yards in the regular season, or in the season for the Boise State Broncos. 29 touchdowns, 7 yards per carry, a long of 77 yards. He was responsible for 50 touchdowns as a running back for Boise State in 3 seasons. I think that he would be really, really good, and especially as a receiving back, he does have some ability there. 23 receptions, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Only 6 yards per catch in that field, but he's a really good running back. And when it comes down to the Saints, I know Alvin Kamara will be back next year, but I don't know if Jamal Williams will be back. I seriously doubt he'll be back. And on top of that, Kendre Miller, jury's still out because he can't stay healthy. I love Kendre Miller. I'm a fan of Kendre Miller. But I need a running back that can stay healthy. So you got to plan for the future at some point. Ashton Jeanty could fill, in my opinion, an underrated and in a very slept-on position in need. Now let's talk Malachi Starks. Malachi Starks, he is one of the top safeties in college football this year. And, you know, I don't want to sit here and say, like, the Georgia football team was unbelievable this year. Like, honestly, I thought that they were extremely underwhelming. But this is a player as a safety, 52 total tackles, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups. And Malachi Starks also, I'm looking up his PFF grades as we speak. And I just know that PFF is a big, big fan of his. I mean, in 2024, 78.3 overall grade. He lines up 271 snaps in the slot, 215 in the box, 400 deep, 10 at the corner, 10 at the D-line. So he can be like a good filler and a good backup towards Alontae Taylor. But, you know, maybe in round 1, I would avoid Malachi Starks. But the Saints do need safety help. Like, Tyrann Mathieu's not getting any younger. Will Harris was great. I think the Saints need to bring Will Harris back this year. But then Jordan Howden, kind of a limited role this year, or lesser role than at least I expected for this season. So maybe if the Saints want to boost up that safety group, Malachi Starks could be the guy. And Luther Burden, let's talk about him as the last target. I think that the Saints could genuinely benefit from adding a slot receiver like Luther Burden. Saints don't have a true slot guy. I mean, Cedric Wilson was lining up in there, Rashid Shaheed here and there, Chris Olave here and there. Like, I don't think NFL fans and Saints fans, I don't think we're doing a good enough job appreciating what the impact a quality slot receiver can make. I mean, look at Ladd McConkey this year. Over 1,000 yards. He's been freaking incredible for the Los Angeles Chargers. Why not Luther Burden for the New Orleans Saints? He's a really good playmaker. He has great burst. Over 600 yards this season, listen to this. 61 receptions, 676 yards, 6 touchdowns. A lot of sixes in that equation right there. But he has over 11.1 yards per catch. Over 11 yards per touch. I think that he would be excellent as a Saints wide receiver. And to be honest, I think that he could do a lot of stuff downfield and in the quick pass game, which the New Orleans Saints are lacking. And if they run it back with Spencer Rattler, if they run it back with Derek Carr, he's going to need a player in the slot that's somebody reliable. If it's Carr, think about Hunter Renfrow, who's a big fan of having a slot receiver then. If it's Rattler, why not just try to give him a little bit more help and a quality player that's an insurance and a safety insurance policy and a safety blanket? That's my take on that. Like, I don't know if Luther Burden is the best option at number 8. Depends on how the board falls. But at the end of the day, the Saints need pass catchers. The Saints need offensive playmakers. The Saints need somebody on, honestly, multiple people on both sides of the ball that can turn shit around and make it better. So right now, I just want the Saints to crush this draft. There's going to be a lot of discussion about the Saints draft targets. We're going to go into a lot of in-depth analysis on player-to-player and draft profiles and everything you would need to know as a Saints fan. So again, I cannot encourage you enough to subscribe to the channel, but if you want the Saints to crush this draft, do not jinx it. We've had too many bad drafts in the past. Like this video right now. And Saints fans, again, thank you so much for hanging in there with us throughout this entire season. It was terrible. 5 wins is a joke. But hey, the offseason's here, so it's time to look ahead, and I think that's a pretty good thing. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.